everyone, John here, software engineer with 10 years of experience. And as you can see in front of us, Latterly.io is having a minification error. So in this stream that's hopefully quick, I'll be fixing that issue. This issue is not going to impact everyone. So if you go to the website, you'll be able to see it. If you log in, that should work just fine, I think. Here, let's reproduce it. Okay, so I'm able to log in. And as far as I'm aware, the website is working pretty much fine. Okay. But if I hit the logout button, I was seeing a minification error. Okay, interesting. Let's see if this is specific to a particular page. So one thing I'm noticing is here I'm on the settings page and here I'm on the home page. So one possibility is that it could impact particular pages. Another possibility, I can think of two more. One is that it might be a caching issue and there might be no error at all. So I might not see it again, period. It might have been a one-off. And the third option I can think of is it could be particular pages. It could be a caching issue. Oh, now I've forgotten the third option. There is a third possibility here, though. Oh, that it's just sort of like a race condition. It just happens, what's the word? Non-deterministically, intermittently. So even this page, let's try it again. Let's do the same page. So I'll go to that settings page one more time. And we'll give this 3 tries of just logging in and logging out. So I'm going to settings. And from settings, I'm going to log out. This seems fine. We're going back to the home. I'll log in for the 3rd time and go to settings and log out. Okay, so sample size of 3 or 4, we would like to have better, but one person, right? It doesn't seem to be intermittent. Okay, so here I've seen the issue on the homepage. Let's try to do that. So I'm logging in. Here I am on the homepage, and let's log out from here. Okay. So that's reproducible. If I refresh, I did successfully log out. Let's see if I can find the issue on some other pages. So I'm logging in. Let's go to the store maybe, and I'm logging out. Okay, so the store is impacted. All right. Logging in, let's go to the blog maybe. Blog is impacted. Am I noticing anything in common about the pages impacted? I notice that the settings page makes an authenticated user account call and the others don't. So the home page, the store page, and the blog page are all sort of static. So let's try to pick a non-static page. The profile would be a non-static page. Actually, I'm not sure about that. Here, let's inspect. If I go to the network, I refresh. Oh, and here I see, yeah, let's clear that. What calls do we see? I'm looking for a data call. So get current user is a data call. All right, and get user is also done after the fact. I can turn off my JavaScript. Let's see if I can do that quickly. I'm trying to figure out whether this data we see, including the GitHub and LinkedIn URL, is statically or dynamically added. Enable JavaScript source maps. Okay. Disable JavaScript. Here we go. All right, and then I'll right click and empty cache and hard reload. Okay. So it's dynamically added. I'll re-enable JavaScript, empty cache and hard reload. Here we go. Okay. And so now I'm thinking if I log out on this page, I will not see the error. But I do. Okay. So simply making a dynamic call is not the differentiator here. All right, well, let's start looking into the issue itself. I think we have some sort of context on the impact now. We avoid sending down full error messages in order to reduce the number of bytes. Highly recommend using the development build. The full text of the error you just encountered is a component suspended while responding to synchronous input. Updates that suspend should be wrapped with start transition. Okay. We'll hold on to this. Am I using a production build? I think so. So what I'd like to do now is check my server logs, and I'm trying to think about whether I can show those on screen. So let me open the server logs off screen, and then I'll bring them over if there's nothing sensitive in them. So on the other screen, I'm opening Vercel. I'm looking at the logs. There's a mix of sensitive and non-sensitive data. And there are a mix of hosts, laterally and www.laterally. Oh, this is interesting. I'm also seeing some traffic on a staging environment. I wonder who's doing that. Let's see if I simply refresh. Okay, it goes away, right? $200, okay, so now I'm logging in. These calls are coming through www. I don't think that matters. Here, let's see. Oh, I'm at the W. It was just truncated in my URL. Okay. Let me bring these over. I think this is fine. So here you can see the server logs. So I'm in Vercel in the project. And you can see here's the host. If I hover, it's laterally.io, and we just confirmed that's me. It does contain email, which is semi-sensitive, but this is, again, me, so I don't care. And we're reading this ugly thing. So we're reading logs, fun stuff. So there's a 200 here on the status code. All right. And we have a bunch of 200s. So these are all looking fine. The issue pretty reliably occurs. It doesn't seem to be intermittent and has happened multiple times, so it doesn't seem to be caching related either. Pretty reliably occurs when I log out of particular pages. And we'll crack open the code for one of these pages next, but I would anticipate it's going to happen now. Yeah. Okay, so now I have a 400. Show new logs. And I don't see the 400 server side. which is a useful bit of information. I don't see the 400 server side. 400 is a client request error. So it could be the, oh, well, we're hitting logout here. This is me, I think. Command F, and I guess it's just going to have my user ID, isn't it? ID. Log level ID. Okay. I think that's me, although it doesn't have. All the things on it. Okay, maybe I can look at my request ID here, ending in 8F15. And it's going to get wiped over here, isn't it? Okay, let's try again. So I'm logging in. Clearing all of this. I'll clear it again. I'll log out. And here, the get current user call is the one that has the issue. This logout seems to have it. Okay, so the logout works fine, and it's after the logout. Do I have the request header? I should. Thanks for the likes. Quick reminder, if you're on TikTok, you can go to YouTube or Twitch. Link is in my bio and see the full screen. Value is undefined. That might be throwing a wrench in things. Okay, so here's the CF array. 8505 is the starter. That's not the request ID, but that could help us. We're going through Cloudflare, as we do. Public data token, that could also help us. The session token could also help us. Vercel ID could help us. But I'm looking for the request UUID, and I don't see that. Maybe I missed it. BWIJU. BWIJU. Let's look for the session token. BWIJU. So we're looking for the logout call. Here we are. And we're looking for session token. It's not even mentioned here at all. Open and monitoring. What do we have over here? That's not, nothing is grouping by session token. Okay. Here I will do just a blind search on this Vercel ID substring and see if anything comes up. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it is the request ID, and that is called the xvercel ID on the client side. Okay, so we confirmed that this is the logout call. That's succeeding. That's not the problem. The problem is this get current user call. Now, here's the interesting thing. Okay, so is this my call or is this someone else's call? Command C, Command F, Command V. It's in orange. We're confirming. Here, get current user, Command F, Command V. And I don't see it. So we're looking for the Vercel, xvercel ID, something like that. Pink Panda, thank you so much for the likes. Oh, and thanks for the follow as well. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to production issue resolution. This is user impacting as this issue was reported to me by a user. It's not particularly severe. Pretty much if you refresh the page, you're good, but understandably it freaks people out, doesn't it? Somehow I have lost the header. Where did it go? So here on the logout, we have all the headers, right? Oh, these are response headers. Okay, got it. So the reason is we didn't receive the response. That's the reason. There should be an additional log. There should be an additional log. So the API gave 200. So here's the API. This gave 200. And yet a response, did I receive a response? Failed to load, no data found. Yeah. And yet there was not a response issued. So this function ran well. Let's look in the functions. But I don't have logs outside of the functions. I actually don't have any error logs at all. As far as the server is concerned, we are doing fine. Okay, so this seems to be kind of a client-side error. This is weird though, because if it was a pure client-side error, I would expect to get the current user result. And then render fail. But we are getting, it's a canceled. Okay. I was looking at the red icon thinking that was a failure indicator, but this is a canceled request. Okay. So this is a pure client-side error actually. All right. You are making a post request. No, actually it was a canceled request. So we didn't make a request at all. If it was a post request, it should have shown up on that place we were just looking in the server logs. So here in this logs, this is it's all of the API requests, whether they're post or get or put or delete or whatever they are. They all come here. This is my Blitz RPC router. So they all come through this single like super duper serverless function basically. So as far as the database and the server are concerned, nothing is wrong, which is actually really reassuring. And it was confusing until I realized, it was confusing with the data I thought I saw in DevTools until I realized this is not a failed call, this is a canceled call. So it makes perfect sense. And now we are seeing the error is from React itself on the client side. So we have like multiple indicators that this is a client side error. Okay. Good. I'm not going to get hacked. We should still obviously fix the issue. But I feel I can afford to take a breath, which is nice. If you're on TikTok, quick reminder, you can go to the link in my bio and see YouTube or Twitch. You would be able to view the whole screen. I know it's kind of rough understanding fully what's going on when you're seeing like this fraction of the screen, right? Okay. So React gave us an answer, right? We could just implement this. We could just sort of blindly implement start transition. And so that would be one approach, is just implement it and see if it fixes the issue. Let's also see if I can replicate this on localhost. So we have seen it in prod. But now that we understand it is a client-side issue, maybe we can fix it. Let me also, I'll create a GitHub issue for this. Okay. Grab a screenshot, save it to my clipboard, go over to laterally. Okay, so there's the React client minification issue. We'll put high priority on it. After logging out, on certain pages, including the blog and homepage, users see a 400 and have a, users see a 400 unexpectedly. CatLFM, thanks so much. Happy Sunday. Okay, so here's 167. Now that I have this, I can make a feature branch, even though this is like whatever, it's a bug fix. So I'm going to check out -b, fix React minify issue. Okay, git fetch origin main, git reset -hard origin. It's a double dash origin main. Push it real good, and we will set up our pull requests so that whenever the code change is ready, we will be able to merge it quickly. So this is the preliminary pull request before any code's been added, right? Okay, so now I am on my local npm run dev. We know that run dev runs a dev server with Webpack, which means that the rendering chain is slightly different compared to production. So we are not actually guaranteed to be able to replicate the issue. If I don't observe the issue, I will do a static local build, and I will not run the dev server. I will run a local true server. I'll run a local next server. That will give us better fidelity. It's a worse developer experience. It's better production fidelity, but it's still not 100% equivalent, because the production server is run on Vercel edge functions and ours is not. So that is a difference that I won't be able to replicate. I don't have a local edge function client. Okay, here we are on localhost. So let's try to do the damn thing. So I log out. Okay, I'm already logged in. Cool. And so, yeah, I should just be able to, let me do a hard empty cache and hard reload. I should just be able to log out and immediately view the error. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we get a very similar error, but it's different. And it's different because we are in dev mode, which on prod, here we can see, use the non-minified dev environment for full errors and additional warnings, okay? By the way, this is like a wonderful error. As far as errors go, this is like super informative. You get a link to the docs, and it's like, by the way, we'll give you even more hints if you do this in dev mode. Okay, so we do it in dev mode. Shout out to the React team and the next team. They're crushing the game. And this basically seems to be the solution. Admittedly, I'm baffled about why this is coming up, because I've never seen this before, and I haven't like changed my version of Next or whatever. So I'm a little baffled, but who cares? I mean, maybe it's been there all along and we're just running into it for the first time. So pretty clearly, this start transition thing seems to be the fix. And I think I have this implemented nowhere in my code base. And I like don't recall ever having to use this. So a little surprised, but that's okay. We get surprised. So here we are in the Laterally 3 repository. This is all open source, by the way. So let me show you how you can access the open source repository if you're interested. Go to laterally.io, scroll to the bottom and click the GitHub link. Voila. This is our repository. You'll get listed on the community contributors over here. There are some good first issues. So if this seems complex, like don't worry, there are simpler things listed on the issues tab, and you can get contributor credit. Over 1,000 likes. Thank y'all so much. Okay. So I would like to visit the homepage. I did Command-Shift-F, Command-V. I'm looking for start transition. It's not used anywhere. So it's not as though it's on some pages and missing on some pages, and this would explain why some pages error and some don't. That's not the case. MH, thank you so much. So we're in the Laterally repo. We are going to the pages. Pages. It's under source. So Next.js introduced the pages directory, and I'm not using that here. So I don't know, whatever. My brain needs to switch it up a little bit. Okay. Mental plasticity for the win. The main page, the home page, will be app or document or index. There's like an inheritance chain going on. Whatever, kind of annoying, but whatever. Basically, it's the index page. I don't see a suspense anywhere in here, so I can eliminate this candidate, the document abstraction. Is there a suspense here? There might be. I don't see a suspense here. I don't see a suspense in the app page. Okay, let's look in this page wrapper. This all appears static, so none of this appears to be causal with a re-render on logout. All right, so here's a suspense. Let me close this. One thing I'm noticing is there is no loading state for this. There is no loading state for this component. So maybe that is the difference. So we've been told that we want to do start transition. So we'll keep an eye on that. I put a comment there just for my own reference. Another alternative that crosses my mind is some suspense components I have a loading indicator and some I don't. So I'm wondering if that's an explanatory difference. And let's dive into this component. I wonder if it calls. Yeah, so this thing, let's see, where's that? It doesn't seem to be called, it's just defined, transition start function. I'm wondering if my loading indicators are indirectly calling this thing. This is a big fat component, y'all. Suspense is crazy. Deprecated. Oh, that was all under the oh, that's under the deprecated lifecycle interface. It gave me an error that said I should use start transition, but start transition is under the deprecated lifecycle interface. That's fun. Some blog articles from 2018. We love to see it. This blog has been archived. Okay. So I am now wondering if the start transition, oh, and it says the site is no, this is like the old React docs, legacy.react.js. So I'm wondering if the whole use start transition, I wonder if that's like dated advice is what I'm wondering. So I'll try both. We'll try both and see what happens. So here's the fallback that I use elsewhere. We'll try this. Here I'll say loading advanced checklist content block. I don't know if I want to do that. So the thing about the advanced checklist is you need to be a paid member to access it. And that is why I need to do this API call to see if you have the permissions. Does that make sense? By the way, you can sign up now for $30 a month laterally. If you want access to the advanced checklist, there you go on the far left. Where is it? Whoa. Oh, I apologize. As little as $1 a month, you can access the advanced check. Well, that's a great deal. I mean, you should definitely do that. Mavi, what's up? What's up? Thanks. Okay. And there's some really good tips in that checklist, seriously. Okay. So anyway, that's what's going on. That's why the block needs to be suspended. Why do I get into all that? Like, who cares? The question is, do I want loading ... to be my loading message, or do I want to do something more informative? Like maybe checking permissions, checking user permissions. like, I don't know. This feels like splitting hairs. Chat, let me know if you have a better message. I could just say loading. I don't think it actually matters too much. So let's see if this fixes the issue. So here I am. I'm on localhost. Let's log in. I also want to confirm that this is the only suspense block on the homepage, because if there are like 2 or 3, they might all be suffering the same issue. I'm seeing there's one. There's only one on the homepage. Okay, cool. Right, so let me empty cache and hard reload. And do I still see it? I do still see it. Okay. So that alone was not the solution. Can I do start transition? I don't even have the ability to place start transition on this block. Okay. Is there another query that should be suspended that I am not suspending? Maybe this one, for example. Nope, that's suspended. Okay. Okay. I don't see any other. Well, we can do this. I mean, just to make sure that this is the root cause, I can just straight up comment this. Oh, maybe the pricing grid. Does this need to be suspended? Let's look at this. Benefit list item. Okay, I mean, the data is here statically, but maybe due to some sort of asynchronous rendering, maybe even though the data is available statically, it's still being rendered asynchronously. So by commenting this block and leaving this block alive, we will be able to deduce whether pricing grid is causal in this error. So that's a useful step. Let's do that. Empty cache and hard reload. Let's log in. By the way, feel free to reach out to me at john@latterly.io. Now that I'm logged in, I'm still seeing the error. So we have 2 reasons to think that it is not due to the suspense block. The first, well, we have 3 reasons. The first is I added fallback, that didn't help. The second is the error is telling me to implement start transition, and I cannot implement start transition on suspense. And the third is we just commented the block and the error survived. All right, now let's try to blame pricing grid. You see how this is debugging, this is troubleshooting. You see how we're following a process of elimination approach right now, as well as combined with referencing documentation. At one point, we dove into node modules, variety of things. And in a production setting, you might want to create, we have a runbook. I should probably create a runbook when the dust settles. So you can go to the docs folder. So here's docs runbook.md. And here I will make a note about this kind of issue. Minified React error. Minified React error number 420. Or can I use a hash there? Let's see. Open preview. Okay, the hash lives because it's not the leftmost. So here I'll put it to do. But we looked at docs, server logs, confirm it's client side only. Server is responding 200. And then we tried process of elimination by commenting suspicious UI blocks, especially ones using suspense. Okay, so we'll get back to that later, but it'll be good to create a runbook so that if someone else encounters this issue, they can deal with it more quickly and more thoroughly. This is production. We're not dealing with production. We are looking at localhost. Great. Am I logged in? I'm not. So the next thing I'll do is log in. You might be wondering, hey, the pricing grid that John commented, like what even is that? The answer is that it's these things. This is the pricing grid. And you can see it's missing in this case. That's because I commented it. Okay, thanks for the likes. So here, does it happen? It still happens. It still happens. All right, and now let's look at this issue over here. The above error occurred in the account menu items component. Well, there you go. We love a descriptive. Is this on prod as well? I think the stack didn't read out on prod. Let's see. I really like the fingerprint authentication. I'm a big fan of that. Okay, it obfuscates the stack in prod. Is that, yeah. It saves bytes. It's not really a security thing. Some people think that's a security thing. It's really not. Even if you look over here, we avoid sending down in order to reduce bytes. It's not a security thing. No one's going to hack me because they know account menu items is the error component. All right, this makes sense. Account menu items does show up on this page. It's fairly well hidden though. Do I have the page wrapper? So here's another strange thing going on. I have a double level on the page wrapper. So here's a page wrapper. And then also in app TSX, I also have, oh, okay, that's the error case. Okay. This is the use exception wrapper. I was thinking that my other page was inside of this page, and then I would have 2 levels of page wrappers, which would be bad. But this is just the exception renderer, which makes sense. Okay. So where does this account menu items show up? I don't see it. Where is it? Well, the answer is that it's inside of the page wrapper. So the page wrapper includes my nav. So you see the top nav, and the account menu items are in the top nav. Somewhere, they're somewhere in here. And let's look visually, what are we dealing with? So here, the top, that's the top nav up there. And it's included in the page wrapper of basically every page. There's a few exceptions, but pretty much every page. And I'm reflecting on the exceptions, such as the settings page, and I'm wondering why it didn't trip on the settings page. Let me go look at the settings page. I think we do use the page wrapper on the settings page. I'm right-clicking, I'm closing others, Command-P, settings. This is the settings page of a different application. Let's try that again, settings, and we'll look for the index under the settings folder, okay? Here I am seeing a large card is the settings list, okay? And we do have the page wrapper here. We do have a fallback. The fallback is a div instead of a literal string. I really hope we're not about to be saved by a div. That would be good for the memes. Honestly, that would be a good error. It would be great for the memes. If we survive, if this starts working because I need to add a div in front of a string, I kind of hope that's true. I doubt it, but I kind of hope actually. All right, so one thing that I'm seeing that seems more realistic is that the top nav did not appear to be wrapped in suspense, okay? So here's the page wrapper. This is the sort of upper level component in the impacted technical flow. It would be divine. Oh, that was a good joke, chat. Thank you. It would be divine if we are saved by a div. Okay. So again, I'm noticing that the top nav is not wrapped in suspense. I mean, we can quickly try that. And maybe this will solve the whole thing. I don't want to do that. I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. Why do I not want to do that? Because the top nav internally includes a skeleton. And it does that to minimize visual shifting. So watch the top nav, it's going to flash. Watch it. I'm going to right click. Did you see the flash? I wish I had a good way to stop it. So there are some elements up here, specifically store and blog. Ooh, it's all coming together. Store and blog will always remain on the top nav, whether or not you are logged in. Store and blog will always remain whether or not you're logged in. So watch the flash. You're going to see them, and then you're going to see the other elements populate after your permissions are identified. Okay, did you see that? So store and blog are members of a skeleton, which includes some bare minimum style, including the height of the overall top nav. That's necessary to prevent visual shifting. In other words, like vertical popping in this case, where if the height wasn't consistently defined in the skeleton, it would shift the whole page because this top would sort of, after the word login, or after the word login was decided for rendering, it would pop vertically because those letters would appear and it would shift the whole page down. We want to avoid that page shifting. So that's the reason we use a skeleton. And that's the reason that I don't want to wrap top nav in suspense with a higher order fallback, because I don't want it to use a higher order fallback. I want it to use its internal skeleton. Okay, and here you can see how that works basically. The top nav right section, which is the part that depends on your permissions, because on the left section, you just have this icon. That's always going to be there. And if you look at the flash on the left, there's no change. Ooh. There's not supposed to be any change at all, but it kind of did pop. Okay, I think we found the bug. Something in the skeleton is fucked up. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. There's supposed to be no vertically shifting in the ladder icon. Okay, so here's the top nav right skeleton, which is the fallback component. Let me comment this whole block and see if that causes the error to go away. This would validate or invalidate that it's due to the top nav right section, which it should be, because that includes the menu items. These menu items, I pasted somewhere. Maybe I did. Maybe I got rid of it. It was complaining about the menu items, if you recall. All right, so we log in. This is prod. I'm in the wrong place. I was like, how did that show up? Okay, here's the account menu items. The account menu items are inside of the top right nav. Literally, they're the drop down on my user account. There's like a word that says account, and you click it and it drops down. Here, I'll show you in prod. So in prod, account, these are the account menu items. Those are complaining, basically. So I should not see the issue here now, although also, how do I like log out now? Nice. Okay. It's off login. Okay. All right. So I manually manipulated the route because I don't have the button anymore. Okay. So now I'd like to log out. This is tricky, right? It's not actually possible to log out via button now that I just removed the whole thing. I think I can log out by accessing auth/logout. And then I'm hoping / thinking that because this page and this page are both on localhost, they will then share a authentication session. And so that I'm hoping I can log out over here and then go back, and that emulates as if I had clicked the button. Does that make sense? Thanks for the likes, Nolan. 1.7K. Let's get to 2K. We can do it. I believe in you. Log out. This page could not be found. Because it's not a real page, is it? Okay. So I think this button is a button and not an anchor. Yeah. So it doesn't actually take you to a log out page. It just logs you out in place. Okay. I don't have a good way to emulate that unless I unless I intercept and breakpoint the virtual DOM and invoke the logout method manually, which I could do, but that creates like rendering problems of its own because I will be breaking the React rendering flow. That could be an option. I don't think we need to do that, but that could be an option as long as you account for the variations, because it won't be exactly like production if you do that. Okay. Let's try something lower level. Let's go more directly towards those account thingies. So here we're trying to handle this situation at a higher level, and that is creating a problem because it's getting rid of the logout button. So one way to solve that is to dive a step deeper so that we don't get rid of the logout button. Handle account click. Is this the only one that uses current user? Ooh, yeah, that's it. Okay. We're 45 minutes into the stream. If you go somewhere back in the stream, I think I mentioned that the user was being the undefined string literal. And I said that could throw a wrench in things. And that's similar. That's basically the problem. It's not literally because it's the value undefined, but it kind of is. Yeah, see that value is undefined right there. So we're breaking the type. You see how this type says you can be an object or you can be null. You're not allowed to be undefined, and you're not allowed to be the string undefined. JavaScript things, right? If you remove the user session, does that emulate a logout? Kind of. So I need to also update the React state. So the logout is happening on the server side. So the session is being removed. The session here is implemented using database tokens. It's not just a JWT. So the session on the server side is being removed, but on the client side, I don't know what's happening to it. I think it is probably getting removed and then failing on re-render, but I'm not sure about that. What I'm pretty sure about is that current user is becoming the literal undefined, which isn't allowed. Okay, so let's just do this. Let's just comment. I wonder if I get rid of this button, the error probably still happens because current user is still evaluated. Top nav right. Top nav right is under suspense. Okay. So it's already under suspense, but it's like it needs to be resuspended because I went log in, log out, log in, log out. This is like doing like a one-time suspense. It's not resuspending properly. Dope. Lit. I'll put a to do for now. To do, resuspend. Really this whole thing. Really this whole thing. And that does give us a solution, right? So this is like a very brute force hacky solution, but it will work. Is I can do a state prop, which says should resuspend. And basically I can use state. I'm not going to do this, but this would be right. I could do this approach. And I would be able to resuspend, but I don't want to do that now. That will be our like last fallback option. Because I think suspense should internally be able to resuspend. So I think that what might be happening is there's just the system is throwing an error when it evaluates current user, and and that is throwing a wrench in things. Basically, it's breaking the built-in resuspension. And the way I want to test this is by commenting out the relevant code. So I could comment out the button. I think the issue will still occur. So I want to comment out the button and the evaluator. Use current user. So we'll comment out use current user. Then we will need to comment out this stuff because it includes it. And then we will want to comment out, I guess, all right, tooltip, chill, bro. All of this stuff, I guess. And I think we can preserve the login and logout just by always showing it. So where's the logout button? Couldn't you isolate that on the front end? Sounds critical if the user is failing. We are on the front end. Mr. Fizzy Water. We are isolating it on the front end, yes. This is front end code right here. Good question. Thanks for the likes. Oh, we're still at 1,700. We were at 1,700 like 5 or 10 minutes ago, y'all. Let's get 2K. You know, I mean with some feedback. No, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? What do you mean by feedback? All right, so we're looking for the logout button. Pretty sure it's in the top right. Oh, is it called sign out? Hold on. Where's the button to log out? I'm like missing it. We have this logout mutation, right? It's called logout. Okay, what are we calling it? Top nav submenu. Oh, because we're using context on this. Okay, so here's the top nav submenu. Oh, the account menu items is here. Yeah. Set menu. Set menu is a context. So we might need to suspend the context. That could be what's going on as well. Top nav right. Here's our context, menu context. So we are suspending our context because it's inside of there. But this is the problem because the menu content, because the menu content is outside of the suspension block. That's a really good candidate for a fix, is just moving this over here. Okay, this is brilliant. So we've commented the account thing, right? And we were like, will the issue still show up? If the answer is yes, the issue is still showing up, then that seems to identify this is the problem rather than this evaluator is the problem. So those are our two candidate root causes at the moment. TypeScript is fun either way. Yeah, agree 100%. Provide feedback on the front end because of the scenario, like visually. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're kind of doing that, Mr. Fizzy Water. So the feedback that we are going to see is whether or not we see the 400 page. I think I get your point though. Is like a common UI debugging tactic is like click a button and like make a big red square show up or something like that. I don't think we need to do that in this case, but it is actually an underrated technique. Like if you're one of these backend developers, you're like, oh, I use a debugger and a breakpoint. It's like, bro, don't sleep on a big red square. Like they are good. They are good. Robert says, alternatively, you could do something like a session sign out after X seconds, or does that imply keep alive is needed? You could do it with or without keep alive. I don't think we need to invoke any of that stuff here. You could, but not only is it not necessary, it's also not sufficient, because even if you did implement that with or without keep alive, or with a socket or with a poll, in none of those cases, if the problem is context, if this is the problem, none of those other things would solve the problem. It's full truthy, the red block. Yeah, I mean, it's it. It's like the gospel. Like if you see the red block show up, you know it happened, right? Okay. Good talk, chat. Oh, we're up to 1.9K. Now we're cooking. Quick reminder, if you're on TikTok, you can go over to YouTube or Twitch. Link is in my bio and see the full screen. I think we're getting near a solution and we're clocking in at 56 minutes. All right, let's kill this bug before the hour mark. We're real developers. We get paid by the hour. Okay, we're testing this issue. I'm expecting to see the logout button because logout is under the submenu thingy, and the submenu is contextualized over here, so I should see it. Do I see it? Here's login. All right. I don't know if it's going to work, but at least I see the button. I am logging in. I typed the wrong thing because I'm not smart. Bam. Okay. And now I can't log out. Let's add a logout button explicitly for testing purposes. So the nav submenu, log out. So the log out button is over here. And just for hacky's sakes, we're going to hack some HTML and we're going to drop it over here, link class name. I don't care if it has the proper style. We're just debugging, okay? It's not exported is a problem. That's okay. We will temporarily export it. Export keyword. Got you. Enjoy the work and challenge of this stuff. Good idea. No shame. Put that in there and validate the state. Exactly. We don't care. We are getting it working. Did my browser what just happened? Oh, okay. I thought my browser just closed itself. Logout button is not defined. Oh, did I not import it correctly? Sorry, I exported it and now I am importing it. And now class name is required, okay? Class name is an empty string. All right, there is our logout button we just hacked in. We just hacked the HTML. And before I click it, I need to ask myself, what am I expecting? So the first thing I'm expecting is that I'm currently logged in. How can I verify that I'm currently logged in? I'm actually not currently logged in. And I can verify, oh, okay. I should be able to see the advanced checklist down here, but I commented that block. So let's go uncomment it. Going back to the index, I'm restoring the advanced checklist, which will only show if I am logged in. Okay, so I am logged in. We can prove that, right? Even though it says login and logout, I still know that I am technically logged in. Now, when I click the logout button, I actually expect the error will still occur because I believe it's due to the menu context. But if it doesn't occur, it's not due to the menu context. It's due to those subnav items. So here's community subnav that's working fine. If the error does not occur, it means the sibling account dropdown, something is off with it. So we'll go check out these two root causes. On the count of 3, 1, 2, and we logged out. And we know we logged out because the thing down there went away. And because I can see on my network shenanigans that I got a 200 response on the logout call and the current user call, which was canceled. In this case, it was not canceled. So that was the, I mean, you remember earlier in this train. All right, we're not going to hit 60 minutes. Bummer. All right, we crossed the 60-minute mark, y'all. But we did get 2K likes, so a win is a win. We have now solved the root cause. we have now solved the root cause, which means that it isn't necessarily tied to the fact that the menu context is outside, because this one is working fine. Okay, so it's not tied to the fact that the menu context is outside. I can also roll this back. I can also roll this back. I actually prefer not to have a string showing up while it's loading. Okay, so we can roll those back. We'll leave the extra logout button for now. So it's not, this is not the problem. I actually thought that was the problem, to be honest with you. So this is not the problem. The problem is, in fact, something specific to the account dropdown. So here we'll close the others. Something in the commented code is the problem child. Thanks for the follow. I think you have an issue with the nav component not receiving the state. I think you're kind of right, but more specifically, I think current user is calculated as an undefined literal when that's not supposed to be allowed, is my current best theory, given what we've seen. And then maybe something about how this thing is running, or how this, let's look and use current user. Okay, so my question is, I want to find things that are different between the account dropdown and the community dropdown, because the community dropdown works. This one's working fine. Let me click into here. So this is exported. This is exported. What about the account? This is also exported. That's not a delta. Link class name, default to string, link class name, default to string, not a delta. Okay, well, the delta is very clear. Okay, the delta is very, very clear. Here in account menu items, I'm invoking use current user. And in the community menu items, I'm not. That is, I hesitate to say 100% ever, but that's intuitively 100%. And then if you correct for the fact that even when I think I'm right, I'm wrong, it's probably 50%. But that is a very clear and relevant delta. What are you using for auth? We're using Blitz.js. And specifically, auth is implemented using database tokens in Postgres, which is running on Supabase. Big fan of Blitz. Love it. Okay. So I believe the issue is because we're using use current user. One way to solve this, I think we're using use current user at the higher level up here. I think we're already using it up here. Yeah, here's use current user. The problem is that this this snippet is not, it's like exiting the suspense loop. This snippet right here, the way that we set menu like this using context, it is out of the suspense loop. That is causing this issue. If you're using a third-party auth, login, logout could have a cache code. No, there's, oh, good luck. Thanks for sharing. Thanks. Yeah, there's nothing wrong on the server side. This is just a UI rendering issue, but good thought. Thanks for being here. Vinny, thanks for the follow. Okay, so one thing we could do is do a weird shenanigan where we implement suspense inside of this set menu. I don't want to do that, okay? What I'd rather do is just pass the user ID down here if I'm allowed to do that. So let's do that. So here I have the current user, and I just want to pass the current user in here. Okay, so that we don't need to use current user here, we are passing the current user, and that will be a user. We will import it from DB because we want the one that's enriched from Blitz is coming from DB instead of the kind of raw Prisma client. Okay, so use current, here we have this. Really, I can just delete that, boom. Current user, which is oh, I added it to the type, but not here. Current user. And that will not be optional going forward. That will not be optional. How do I get into a state? Yeah, I should not get into a state where current user is null or undefined or anything like that. We'll test it, but that's my, I think that's true. Current user here is, oh, it's actually not a, it's not the whole user, it's a partial user. So that's a partial user type. So we'll use a partial. And we'll push all the wrong buttons because nothing ever goes right the first time, does it? Okay, so now we have a partial user, which is going to include, most relevantly, the role. Because that's what we're actually caring about, is the user has permission to see the thing. Oh, no, actually the ID, because we want to navigate to the user profile page. Yeah. So a couple data elements that are relevant there. To do resuspend top nav right, we're trying the simpler approach of just propagating the relevant data and eliminating a duplicate interior call. Here, let's try uncommenting this. Okay. Is my compiler happy with this page? I think so. Command-Shift-P, sort imports. Okay. Let me look through my changed the root cause was using a mutation or like RPC call outside of suspense scope. This happened because we are toggling a context value. Not just any context value, toggling a component inside of context, and that component makes an RPC call. But it is not wrapped in suspense within context. Okay, that's the truth. It's not written very well. We'll come back and write it better, but that's basically the issue. Inside of that use context hook, it's not being suspended inside of that closure. Subnav menu, let's see. We probably going to roll that back. So I'll leave this unstaged for now. This unstaged for now. We don't even need to import the hook. That seems good. All right, here we are on localhost. Let's log in. Great. And now I would like to log out through the account dropdown. My dropdowns are working fine, right? You love the animation on the chevron, right? You love that. And we're good. We're good. Let me do it one more time. I want to see that advanced checklist thing show up and then go away. So we have, as a paid member, you can access the advanced checklist. Then I go over here and it goes away. No 400. We solved it. So now we just need to revert our hacked logout button and we're good to go. User is staying. These changes are staying. Cool. Command-Shift-P, sort imports, Command-S. I'm staging this file. Top right nav. Over here, we're eliminating this debug block. temporary block for troubleshooting. We are retaining passing this additional prop. We're going to retain that, Command-Shift-P. Let's sort the imports, Command-S, no change, that's fine. Stage this, top nav. Here, we can revert this whole file, okay? Reverting all the things, close all, Command-P, runbook. Let's clean this up. So to do, this error has been seen as a result of a render occurring out of suspense. Look for components that should be wrapped in suspense. Possible fixes include adding the suspense wrapper, or 2, refactoring the component so that it doesn't need suspense. For example, by passing in data from another location, which is what we did in this case. So we could have added a suspense wrapper, but that would have been weird because it was a use context situation. Thanks for the follows. Thoughts on that project? I'm thinking of doing, oh, hold on. Hey boss, I'm a CS freshman looking for an internship. I'm working on a retail auto checkout bot. What does that mean? A retail auto checkout bot. Is that like you send a Roomba to go shopping for you? What is a retail auto checkout bot? Thoughts on that project? I mean, it's awesome. If you're telling me that I can like get your app and I don't have to go to the store and I don't have to use Instacart, like you're going to send a robot for me, I'm here for it. I mean, you'll probably freak out the other people at the store when they see the robot walking in. Best current frameworks, libraries for web automation, Selenium type stuff. The answer is Puppeteer. Puppeteer. Cypress is chill too. Puppeteer is awesome because you can use Python if you want. So you can use Node or Python. So everyone should be able to use Puppeteer. Cypress is going to be specific for JavaScript world and TypeScript world. And so, you know, depending on your programming background, it could be, you might not know how to use it if you don't know how to use JavaScript. But if you're a JavaScript or TypeScript person, this one slaps because it does like video recording and stuff too. And because it has 2 levels of code abstraction, you can basically debug the UI through the backend because it's full stack JavaScript, TypeScript, and they're both using that language. So you can in your E2E, it'll be browsing, the driver will be browsing, visiting the websites. Not only can you debug the driver process, which you would do in Selenium or Puppeteer or whatever, but you can pause the browser and then go into the page it's looking at, which is just wild. So Cypress is sicko mode if your team is chill with JavaScript, and if not, then use Puppeteer. And please don't use Selenium. Just uninstall it. Any tips for C++? Yeah, stop programming in C++. Thanks for the follow. Look up Stellar. People use it to auto check out high demand items. All right, let's look it up. Fine. Feels kind of like a rabbit trail. Hey, I'm currently planning to develop a Chrome extension to scrape a specific website. Any advice? Watch out for rate limiting. The other advice I would give you is that a Chrome extension might not be the best tool, because if you need authenticated state, you're going to want to reach for a stateful runner like Cypress or Puppeteer, like we just talked about. Oh, there's another really good one. Ooh, what's that thing called? Chrome browser driver. Nope, none of these. Alternative to Puppeteer. Playwright. I think I had Puppeteer and Playwright mixed up. Sorry, Playwright is the one that you can do Python. Oh, hey, yes. Hey, Supratim. Hey, Supratim on Twitch. 100% correct. Playwright is the one that you can do JavaScript or Python. And then Puppeteer is just going to be like a Chrome driver. But one of these web drivers will help you if you need a client that can log in. So if you're trying to scrape something that can log in, a Chrome extension might not cut it. You might need to reach for one of these tools. Automation checkout software. Oh, it's so that you can like snag an item. I got it. That's cool. Whenever there's like a, what's that workout close? Gymshark. Sometimes when there's a Gymshark drop or like a band, like a certain band that I want, and they just sell out way too fast. So you could use your bot to like grab a ticket really quick or something. For hype products. Okay, is that what these things are called? So any of these things are called hype products when they sell out really quick, I guess. I mean, that sounds really cool. Now I'm forgetting what your question was, but it sounds like a cool project. Okay, so we were writing the run book, weren't we? Auth, log out. This is not a real page. That's fine. Here we are. Let's do one more just because that page freaked me out a bit and I want to make sure it's not real. So we log out or log in and we log out and there's no error. Great. Love to see it. Closing. Let's leave open Laterally. Hey, y'all can go sign up for Laterally for free. I know earlier I talked about the advanced checklist, $1 a month. It's a great deal. But you can also sign up for free. And there's an open source curriculum. You can do the chatbot. We have a custom GPT that it's better than GPT-4 because it's trained on the Laterally curriculum. So it will give you concrete answers. If you're like, what's the best programming language that I should learn? GPT-4 is like, well, it depends. Laterally is like, learn React. It's very clear. What projects should I use? If you ask GPT-4, it's like, well, you could make a Discord bot. GPT-4 is like blog, and it walks you through the standard curriculum. So this thing is awesome and free, okay? And you can join our Discord for free. Hang out with programmers and fellow students and whatever. Highly recommend that. Make sure you follow the page. Later today, we will be doing this whole thing, which has to do with interviews. So lots of other things, and we'll be doing some leak code. Lots of things going on in the page today. So make sure you follow the page. That's just a quick plug because we are wrapping up soon because this is fixed. So we're writing the runbook. This error has been seen as the result of a render occurring out of suspense. Look for components that should be wrapped in suspense. Possible fixes include this is a ensure that this is a client-side error in your case. It probably is. Ensure that this is a pure client-side error in your case by inspecting server logs. It probably is just a client. It probably is only on the client. Keep an eye out for dynamically appended components, such as a component appended through state or context. The dynamic closure may not be suspended, and that could be the issue. The above mentioned fixes still apply. Cool. That's what a documentation looks like. Yeah, this particular form of documentation is called a runbook. It's one of the flavors of documentation you'll see in programming. Another really popular one would be a design doc. Google has really good practices for how to write a design doc. So you can check out, you can Google design doc. And then others would be your standard README for how to, like a README boilerplate. I've contributed to one of the most popular. If you just Google README boilerplate, is it this one? Yeah. So this is like the most popular README boilerplate, and I've contributed to that. So this will be, you know, how do you install it? How do you use it? Installation usage and contributing. Sometimes contributing will be in the README itself. Sometimes you'll have a contributing.md, its own dedicated page. And those are, I think, some of the main forms of documentation that you'll see. Also, Agile documentation. So that's kind of a different topic. But when you get into how to write a user story and stuff like that, that's another important piece of documentation, but it's not one that you need to worry about before getting a job. Like, you can get a job if you have a portfolio, if you know how to code, if you have like good interview performance, you can go get your first programming role and you can learn how to do Agile documentation after getting the job. No one's going to ask you about, I mean, for me, it would be a red flag if you're like in an interview and they're like, how do you write user stories? I'd be like, bro, like, whoa, what did you say this job was? Casey shared the live. Thanks, Casey. TikTok won't let me be great. Says my toxic trait is thinking this is for me. Let's get toxic, homie. You can do it. Cooling Gambian, thanks for the follow. 2,300 likes, y'all rock. Collapse that. Yeah, pull up on the Discord. Why can it not be you? Seems like a skill which can't be flexed, but is very useful. Basically, yeah. The interview like, I'll plug it again. Later today, I'll be doing a video on the standard software engineering pipeline interview process. Okay. And it's not awesome. Like, there's a lot of problems with it. And so there are a lot of important skills that it doesn't give you signal on. And one of those is like, hey, are you good with like creating user stories and shipping code, really? Like constructing release pipelines and making sure that every step is like well organized. None of that stuff is really dealt with in software engineering interviews these days. Okay, I'm not going to go on that rant now. Follow the page and keep an eye out if you would like a rant about that later. So what's this is not a feat, this is a fix. Fix suspense breaking, top nav. And specifically it's the account sub nav, but whatever. Saving characters because it's a commit message and that's how we do. That's what we do. You're so cool, everyone that is here supporting open source. You're all good looking and soon to be famous. Thanks again for being here. I mean, you could, like, this is going to be merged in the next 10 minutes. So you want to hang out and look at the staging environment? Fine. We'll look at the staging environment. It's a good practice. It's a best practice, bro. Make sure the staging environment doesn't suffer regression before you merge main. Is this AI open source? Kind of. So this project is open source. It's right there on GitHub. You can see it. Failure, dang. All right, good thing we're doing best practices. There's a type issue maybe. Current user is missing in the type, yeah. Ugh. All right, well, good thing that we didn't skip a step. Good thing that we didn't skip a step. How do you write a commit message? Look for conventional commits. There are 4 ways to write a commit message. Okay. This is a good TikTok video material. So let me make a little picture. And I'll do a TikTok about this later. 4 ways to write a commit message. Da 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 da. One is naive. Just summarize the code change you made. 2, AI assisted. Ask ChatGPT to summarize the code change you made as a git commit message. 3, whatever your teammates say. If they ask you to write it some special way, do that. 4, conventional commits. It's a best practice, trust me, bro. Prefixes include feat, fix, chore, go study up, and test and more. Test and more. Go study up. Bam. Those are the way that you write commit messages. Number 2 is the best. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. There should be a formal commit message option. There is. There is. So conventional commits has you can implement it. You can implement it as a pre-commit hook, and it will force you to write your commit a certain way if you want. Seems like nobody reads messages at my work. Yeah, that's pretty common. Don't overemphasize this stuff. It doesn't really matter that much, but I will say here's where it does matter so that you can remember what you did. Even if your team doesn't care, write them for you. And so that would be number 1 there, right? Put in emojis. Goated. Put in emojis is goated. Current user is missing in the type. Okay. Command Shift F, Command V, enter. Here we are. This is the mobile menu. Okay. So here's current user. We forgot the mobile. I forgot the mobile menu. Thank you, Linter. Thank you, TypeScript. So here, account menu items, we're going to say current user is current user. We're basically going to prop drill. We're bad people. We are bad people for prop drilling. How can I avoid prop drilling? I could use context. I could put the mobile menu inside of context. That's probably the reason for the interior call in the first place, is that I didn't want to implement context over here, so I just called it a second time, and I would do that again. Okay. Let's try doing that. So here we go to account menu items. And let's return suspense. So the whole fix about let's just pass the data in, it's really easy, right? I'm going to completely reverse that if this works, because prop drilling is bad. Okay, so we're going to try to return suspense here. And we're going to try to cancel putting use current user here. We're going to cancel that, and we are going to restore the. Hi, Cheem, what's up? Thanks for being here. Current user is ID 1. It's not, but whatever. Current user is use current user. We will import that. possibly null. Yes, it is. That's fine. Okay, so basically back to the way we were. And why would this work? It wouldn't. It wouldn't. So here we will make suspended. Boom. Take the suspense out of here. Okay. Count menu items is going to be inside of suspense. Okay. Can you please, my friend, I have a test tomorrow on ES6. Give me a helpful playlist or video on YouTube to understand. Yeah, I don't know. You can check out Mosh. Mosh is pretty cool, but can't make any guarantees about your quiz tomorrow. Sorry about that. Thanks for the follows. Okay, so here, and the external references are all going to be on this name. So let's do this. Account menu items, and then account menu items, inner account menu items. You'll see this pattern sometimes. You'll have an inner component. So let's see what this does. By the way, your subscribed content is good. Thank you so much. Another user says, ask Bard to give you a list. I don't know if I'd recommend Bard, but sure, a large language model could help in this case. I would go for GPT-4, of course. Or you can use the laterally custom GPT. Here, let's try it. What are a few important things to know about ES6? Regarding ES6, it's suggested to learn ES6 JavaScript before diving into React due to React's heavy reliance on ES6 features. That's true. ES6 introduces several important features that enhance what features does it introduce? You better tell me block level scoping. You better tell me block level scoping. Let in const, block scope variables. Yo, this custom GPT slaps, dude. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Now write the same message in Bard. Okay. I'll do anything for my chat. It's that's my toxic trait. Give me more likes. Since I'm doing what you want, you got to do what I want. That's how this works, right? Your data and privacy. Give us all your data and privacy. Whatever. My chat asked me to, so fine. Opt into giving them all the information. Fine. Understand, create, explore. What? Chat, I'm already confused. I'm just going to ask the question here, and I'm not going to pick any of these. Props for the icon. Ooh, few important things to know. Let in const. Okay. Bard is cooking. Credit where it's due. Arrow functions, we love it. Temporal Look, Bard did a great job. Yeah, Bard did a great job. Bard did a great job. See you later, Bard. Okay. What's going on? What's going on is that I'm going to try. Thanks, mate. You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Have a good one. Happy Sunday. I'm going to try to log in and log out and not have an error. That's all that's going on, isn't it? I've got no error. Sheesh. Okay, fine. So we'll do it this way. All right, let's clean this up. I made a bit of a mess. Link class name is, now we're prop drilling on link class name. Now we're prop drilling on link class name. There's no way to win, is there? Okay, so we can add the link class name to context. This is already in context. Wow. So prop drilling is inescapable whether or not we use suspense. Prop drilling is inescapable unless we use context. Okay. I hate context, but I guess we'll use context. Hi. Food, yay.
Another garden bowl for me.
Thank you. Whew. Hot. All right. Context can't get me down. Wifey got me some food. Context can't get you down. All right. So what are we doing? We are trying to avoid prop drilling by using context. So the thing to do will be my mobile menu needs to use context. So let me close the others. And I will want to add the account menu items link class name to the context as well. Okay, so step one is use context. Const. I don't know. Already forgot. Use context. Where am I using it? Here's the menu context. Here it is. Okay, so step one. This is a read operation, but I want the set operation. Okay. So here we are setting menu. Yeah. GitHub should have an audio commit message. Oh, interesting. Maybe. You can consider that a feature, I think. So here on the menu context, we want to add another data element. Maybe two more. Current user is null, and the link names. Account menu link class name. Now, do I need it to be account menu specific? No. No. I can just make it for whatever thing it is. Yeah, for whatever menu items thing it is. These will be the links, not the menu items. Link class name. Object literal may only specify known properties and current user does not exist in this type. Okay, that's fine. We will update the type. So it's null or it's a user. And this will be a string, of course. Can sort these. Okay. Set menu takes the React node and the open menu name We also now want it to take current user, which is a user, and we want it to take link class name, which is a string. And these types need to be added to the type signature. This is the reason people hate React, honestly, is because of stuff like this. Boo. Comma was expected. Okay, my bad. Sorting the lines. Why is it mad about that? I don't understand that. Have you tried the Pretty TypeScript Errors plugin for VS Code? I've never installed it. I've never really had a need to. I hear good things though, so yeah, I'm not opposed to it. User or undefined is not assignable to React node. Which plugin for sorting? None. It's built in. Sort lines ascending. Command-Shift-P. Look for sort lines ascending. Okay, we can just make it an optional user instead of a nullish user. Plus, you can keybind that after using it. Yep, that's true. Set menu. Menu content and current user are currently incompatible. Menu content is a React node, as it should be. Current user. Okay, just because it's not mentioned there, that's the issue. So here's the provider value. Current user. And link class name. This is going to end up passing it into the contextualized component anyway, which is equivalent to a one-step prop drill. So all of this work is like, the thing about prop drilling, I really only go for the rule of 3. If you drill one step, I don't care, because it's going to context doesn't save you anything. Whoa, this is awesome. All right, let's try this, but I might revert it and I might just drill it, because so if I have a 3-node chain and I'm drilling one step through the middle, using context, I'll be doing that anyway, because I'm sending my link class name over to context, and then I have to inject that into the interior component. So it's literally a 3-step anyway. Enjoy your meal. Thank you so much. Here's user or undefined. Okay, do I need to do a question mark? Is that the issue? User or undefined. Set menu. Current user, link class name. No value exists in scope for the shorthand property, okay? So we have the menu content, set menu, you're excluded this one. Then we will have it setter. Look, this is actually much more complicated in terms of line count and expression count and cyclomatic complexity. Using context here is much more complicated than digging a step. What are you eating? I actually don't know. It's like chicken and potatoes, basically, with all kinds of seasoning and stuff. So here, this is a user. Fine, yeah, user or undefined. And actually it is it's a partial user. Or partial is declared but never read. It's undefined is not assignable to partial. Yeah, it is, dude. Oh, I never closed the angle. My bad. I'm a noob. Could you have used the ellipsis to expand the other keywords you passed arg1 to past values? Past where? Down here? No, I don't think so. Yeah, no, you can't do that. This overhead is not worth it to me to implement context. Like, okay, I'm going to revert this. I feel good about the concept that if we're not drilling more than 3 nodes, then you actually don't save on complexity by going over to context. Well, this was a good learning exercise in that regard, because historically I would have said if you need to prop drill, you should be using context. And that's what everybody says. But I think we have a little bit more of a nuance now, and I think it's a reasonable one, which is if you're only drilling one level, it's actually isomorphic. You're doing a 3-node step anyway, whether you go to context in the interior or whether you go to a node and its interior. It's 3 steps either way. Okay, so here we did all this with suspense so that I could avoid drilling 1 level, but we're reverting that because I don't care. We're going to drill 1 level. Oh no, account menu is missing current user. What should we do? Well, we should pass current user is what we should do. Okay, so so this is 1. I could set the context up here, couldn't I? No, it needs to be inside the condition. So here we're passing it 1. Two, and then we use it here. Yeah, that's consistent with what I was saying. Okay, I was worried there was an extra step for a moment. There's not an extra step. This is exactly the 3-step argument. Okay, so we pass current user, and we are drilling on the parent. So we're drilling on this one. And this is a partial of a user. Okay, now we're passing that. And here you go, here we go. just like Mario. Here we go. Jang, thank you for the follow. All right, so are we good now? That was a pretty straightforward fix. Basically, just pass the current user and mobile, because we took care of our top nav, but we ignored mobile. And that's what we love a build failing compiler for. Because I was rushing and I was trying to get done under the hour, and I would have broken the mobile menu. So it's a good thing that it failed early. Okay, so this is a fix. Pass user to nav on mobile. $2,500 likes. Hey, it was worth it to stay because y'all like me even more now. All right, so we're going to wait for our staging environment to build. While that builds, should take maybe 30 more seconds. I'll give one more plug for ladderly.io, where you can go sign up for free. Learn to code, land your first or next programming role. You'll get access to a step-by-step checklist. What concepts should you learn? How should you learn them? How do you build a portfolio? What projects should go in that portfolio? When you're ready to do the job search, how do you network with people? What do you say? How do you get a resume that's optimized, a LinkedIn that's optimized? Get into the interview process, knock that interview out of the park. This is what we do. This is what we do. Come hang. And then for as little as $1 a month, you get an even better checklist that has secret tricks. I'll show you a couple of them now. That, like, for example, using interviewing.io. Super great trick. Tips and tricks on the advanced checklist. Is it TypeScript and React? That's correct. So it starts with JavaScript, starts vanilla, and you will progress to learning full stack TypeScript and React and Next.js, which is a framework on top of React. All the tools you need. If you're already awesome, maybe you've been programming for years and years, come contribute. We'd still love to have you join the community. It's not like this is like a, it's not just for noobs. In the small group, so we have a small group every Saturday. It went really well yesterday, by the way. And there's a guy there that's been programming for years. He's just in the small group for like social reasons and to kind of help other people. So this is a staging environment in Vercel. You can tell by the URL. We're logging in. Let's not save that here. My community tab, my account tab, great. We'll go to settings here. We'll go back to the store. Remember the store was erroring. We'll log out. No error on the store. Ooh, logout is still here, huh? Oh no, logout's not, it's not vanishing. Did we just find a different bug? So after we do log out, we need to purge the context. We'll do that quickly. Christian says, can you answer my question? Let me take a look. What's the best way to code split with a bunch of provider, or is there a way? I don't know of a single good way to do that. Sorry. Next.js should have code splitting built in, doesn't it? But you're still only going to be able to split so far. If you have n providers on a particular page, you're not going to be able to. Yeah. So Next.js already has code splitting built in. So if you're not using Next.js, I'd recommend you to look. But even if you're using Next, you cannot split out all your providers. You can't do that. If you're providing multiple providers to a page, you need your providers to load the page, right? You could try doing something kind of strange with suspense if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend that. That would be a case-by-case basis. If you're having like, you can book a call with me if you want me to like actually consult on your project. I'm not cheap, but you can book a call if you want. Okay, so this is working. Does this issue already exist in prod? So here, we'll go to prod. We have not deployed our new fix yet. And so here, prod should still have the bugs. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the store page and log out. And then the issue was that this thing just didn't, yeah. So we don't know because this page shows an error. So we don't know. Am I introducing a bug or am I just unhiding another bug that exists? It doesn't matter. We'll get it fixed either way. So the right thing to do is just whether it's a new bug or not, just fix them both. That's the right thing to do. Is that because store doesn't care whether or not you are logged in? No, it is not special to the store. It's a good question. Let's demonstrate that now. So here I am in the staging environment. Let's go to the blog, which also doesn't care. Fine, whatever. Let's go to the settings page, I guess. So we'll log in and we'll go to the settings page. And now I believe the context will remain open. Oh, it didn't. Always lots of fun new surprises when you're coding, eh? Okay, so why did the thing do the thing? Dude, all my ice melted in my coffee and now it's gross. Why did the thing do the thing, chat? Let me do that one more time back on the store page. I'm at a loss, so I think I need to gather some new context. So here we are. We're logging out. It just stays open. It just stays open. I hate it so much. Okay. Because the other thing had the one thing that made the difference. Oh, that's it. That is the truth. Now I just need to map those abstracta onto reality. Okay, so on the store page, well, let's go to the blog now. Maybe Digpen was right the whole time. I'm sorry, Digpen. I was maybe too hasty in discounting you. So here we get the same effect, right? Oh, yes, because the current user is refetched. Your Digpen is 100% right. I am so sorry, dude. I am so sorry. Yeah, if you're already connected to me on LinkedIn, you can ask for a referral anywhere. Digpen is the guy that called me out on stream, and I was super wrong. You're 100% right. It is sensitive to those pages that care about authenticated state because when I log out, it is pushing a refetch on those pages that have a query that care about authenticated state. And the other ones that don't care, they're not pushing a refetch. So it doesn't re-render and it doesn't collapse. So we need to push some sort of event to purge it. Okay, how do we do this? Let's go to the inner context. Okay. Top nav, we start at the top nav. And we are going into the menu content and we're going into the menu context. So here, let me close the others. So this is my menu provider. This is my menu context. The user is not here. So one thing I could do is that when the user goes away, wipe the context. That's one thing I could do. The other thing I can do is explicitly collapse when anyone logs out. I guess that's what I'll need to do. So when anyone clicks that logout button, okay, so here is the logout button. So when anyone clicks this logout button, we are not merely going to await the logout mutation. We are going to collapse. Is it nullable or is it an empty object? We're going to collapse the menu context. Or make the logout button dependent on the login state. So, okay, so it is indirectly independent already because the wrapper that chooses whether to display the logout button, that dude checks. Here, I'll show you. Did that make sense? Oh, it's the same file. So this account menu items is the one that holds the logout button. And if there's no user ID, it's null. So I could go to this guy's parent and purge the null. So here, but the problem is there are two parents. Okay, so here, current user is what? Somehow not cleared. So let me go to my inspect. And the way we're going to test this is if I click it, and if it keeps sending my user ID, okay? So we logged out and it sent my user ID. Here's my payload. But my params is already undefined. I'm logging out with an undefined. I'm logging out with an undefined user ID already. So it is purged. And purging that ID alone is not collapsing the menu, okay? And I don't know why, actually. So purging the ID should mean that this is falsy and it should return null. So the account menu items, I'm expecting to be null. This is going to be like minified. What I would like to do is step into the JavaScript, actually, and put a debugger on there. But I don't want to do all that. Should I do that? Okay, we can do this. I'll comment this thing. We'll comment that for now. So we're not going to clear the context manually yet. We will try this approach where we're like, hey, what's going on over here? We'll try that approach. So I'll put a debugger here. It chooses to log in or log out. Is it interrogating at the wrong level or not updating? Basically, it's not updating, Robert. Basically, it's not updating. And we'll go ahead and test that now, but I think that's the case. I think the ID is not getting purged from the closure. Okay. So here you can see I clicked the account button, and here my user ID is 1. That's right. I'm number 1. You caught me. I put my own user ID as number 1 in the system. Okay, great. We're on the same page. Now I'm collapsing it. Now I'm opening it, and it's still 1. Okay. Now I'm logging out. No one ever told it that it wasn't 1 still. So it's still, so it's not getting purged. So that's the issue. John is the Woz of Latterly. Let's go. So this, I mean, there's many solutions. chat, but the natural solution is that on click here, I should force a re-render. That's the thing that's not occurring. And force a re-render of what? Specifically, I want to force a re-render that includes purging this ID. And where's this ID coming from? It's coming from context. So I'm open to options if you want to suggest something else. But in my book, this is a pretty clear case where a natural solution is to just tell it, hey, null out the context now. Null out the context now. So user ID is different than current user. Yes, because current user, after you log out, you would be a guest. So your user ID becomes undefined. Basically, like you don't have a user ID because you don't have an active session. So there's not like a magic number for guests. It's just that you have an undefined or nullish user ID. But the value is not the problem. The fact that the contextual render chain is not being invoked is the problem. So it just has no reason to go away because that call chain is not being called. So that's why we want to push some sort of event to make the dropdown rerun. The forced refresh seems like a quick reset. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's not going to be your whole page. It's not like pushing the refresh button, but it's in that subcomponent tree. Okay, so what's going on now? What's going on now is boop, function not implemented. Sick. Got no idea why that happened. Function not implemented. Bro, are you kidding? Set menu content. Whoa, it says function not implemented. Okay, I just accepted a Copilot change without thinking, didn't I? Okay. Like, I swear I never wrote that. That was crazy, dude. Okay, so I came over here. Yeah, got it. I meant to import it, and I instead added it. That was on me. I want to use this thing over here. I literally just like left my body for a minute. I don't add. What do you mean add? I want to import it. Okay. Right. The provider is exported, not the inner function. So that's also another dumb thing I did. Hey, this should give y'all hope. You can be a total idiot and still get to big tech, six-figure salary, remote work, etc. So here's the menu context. That's a read. Yeah, this is what I want. I want to use context. That's what I'm skipping. Okay. Now we're setting the menu, open menu name, I don't care. Cool. Sort the imports. Yeehaw. How about now? Now we're good. And that's how you close a menu. We did it. We closed the menu. We closed the menu. All right, let's do a quick regression test on local, then we'll go to staging. Here we are, community account, cool. We log out, and we do close the menu, the thingy vanished. Let's do another one where we go to the store page and the settings page. All right, we're buying the hoodie. The hoodie is sick, y'all. I have the purple one. I guess I don't have it here in the room. I would like to get to where I can click this and it flips it and shows you the back because the back looks way cooler. It has like a skeleton wizard on it. Anyway, cool, works. One last time with feeling, we'll go over to the settings tab. Whoa, settings just, the world ended when we tried to look at settings. Key is not a prop. Most websites would make it so you just hover over it and it flips, especially if the back is cooler. Yeah, word, Parker. That would be a good idea. A lot of people won't know to click on the random image. True. That would be great. So whenever we get to that piece. Benefit list has a problem. Okay. Key is not a prop. Well, we can fix that too. That's unrelated, but since we're in here. Key is not a prop, but it should be. So let's go to the benefit list item and create a key prop. It is a prop. It is a prop, dude. What do you mean? Trying to access it will result in undefined being returned. If you need to access the same value, you should pass it as a different prop. Oh, it's like a reserved key. Got it. I don't know that I need to. Like, yeah, let me eliminate that. So we have the benefit.text, which is always going to be there. Seems like the benefit text will always be there. No? So if the benefit text will always be there, then it's a valid key. Great. But we don't want to put the key here. Okay. We want to put the key on the list item. I don't know. Do we want it on the list item or do we want it on this thing? Why am I getting some lag? Key is the benefit text. Cool. Then here, let me eliminate its usage here. So that got rid of the problem, I think. Okay, cool. So that is a invalid key usage. Let me commit that one by itself. Pricing grid. Fix invalid key usage. Okay, cool. Cool. Well, our goal here was to fix one issue, but it looks like we're fixing 3. So that's dope. Here, what are we doing? Here, we are nulling out the menu. We did that, and we were testing, and we found a weird thing on the settings page. Okay, we tested a bunch of places. They were all groovy, but not the settings page. It was not groovy. So what's going on? This thing is super mad. Validate DOM nesting P cannot appear as a descendant of P. Okay. So we're going to end up fixing 4 bugs. Now I'm not mad that we went over an hour. In fact, we're over 2 hours. But we'll do more than a bug an hour. How about that? So somewhere is a nested P tag. It's within the app container. My app hydrate. Oh, it's in a div. Nice. Okay. Latterly page wrapper. So that's somewhere we can go. Okay. Somewhere in here is a div that has a paragraph that has a div that has a paragraph. Ganondorf followed the host. Nice. Let's go. What up, Ganondorf? Doing anything evil today? How's Link and them? how's Zelda and the whole crew? Okay, so I'm going to take a guess and check approach. I'm going to guess that it's the top nav or the children. Who do we think it is? I'm going to guess it's the children if it's particular to the settings page. So I think it has to do with the settings page children. So let's go over here to the community. We'll go to the browse, empty cache, hard reload. We're logging in. We're typing the username. We're typing the pass. We're hitting the enter button. We're going back. We're just zigging and zagging. We're going back to browse all the profiles, clearing the stack. And on the community tab, we get no interior paragraph error, which means we know it's due to the children content, because in the latterly page wrapper, the children content contains like the page interior as opposed to the top nav or something else like the footer or whatever. So we know that it's this children, and we further know that it's specifically the settings page children. Cool. So yeah, so here's a div that contains a paragraph that contains a div that contains a paragraph. So somewhere, so here's our div. So somewhere in here is the problem. Somewhere in this settings list. Let's see, could it be somewhere else? It's going to be somewhere in this settings list component. All right, and I'm just going to Command F and look for the angle P at this point. There's only one. So it's not, and nothing here is dynamically populated. That's a static string. Do you see that? So it's nothing direct, so it has to be, and this is all divs, so it's none of those. So it's nothing direct, so it has to be a nested child. It's got to be in this setting form. Let's go to this setting form. Bro, where's the P tag? I don't know. It's the missing P. What's going on? Let me comment this settings list and see if we still have the issue on the settings tab. So we log in. We go over to settings. We commented out basically like all of the content on the page. So that's not expected, or that's not unexpected. So this looks fine, actually. There's no issue right here. You might go, oh, like where are the settings? Don't freak out. We just commented it, okay? My question is, if I hit the logout button, do I see the nested P issue? And I still see it. I still see it, which means that we demonstrated that the problem is not in the settings list component. Do you see the troubleshooting, the debugging technique here? You line up your list of possibilities, and then you take an elimination approach, is what we're doing in that case. That's a div. It's not in there. That's a div. So it's got to be something in this page wrapper. It's got to be something in the page wrapper. Oh, there is a paragraph over here. Is it the footer? That would be super weird. Settings isn't available until you're logged in. Should it be the same for rendering like the log out button? Let's think. Settings isn't available until you are logged in. Okay, that's true. Should it be the same for rendering like the log out button? Yes, definitely. And that is how it is. So we have the use current user. We have this common hook that we use for settings display, and we also use it for the logout button. So here, if there is not a user ID, we do not show the logout button. Does that make sense? Roman, thanks for the likes. Where's the extra paragraph coming from? I don't know. I'm going to comment this paragraph just because, I don't know, conspiracy theories and stuff. Like, it's the only paragraph I see on the settings page. You are not logged in. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it's the logged out state. So okay. I think this logged out message includes a paragraph. You are not logged in. Yeah, okay. Yes, but you don't force the page to re-render after logging out. You don't force the page to re-render. So I don't force it, but it still happens. A re-render still happens. And we know that for a couple of reasons. I mean, first of all, the UI changes here, right? So this UI looks different than before I logged out, which means a re-render occurred. So that's one thing we know. But the second thing is also technically, if we look at the query, this is called again because of just the way that the React render functions work. So this is going to get called again. I don't need to send a new event. This one does it automatically. I don't think I explained that very well, but anyway. I don't do it manually, you're right, because it's like built into this thing, basically. You are not logged in. Okay, so where's the paragraphs here? We have a paragraph there, and there you go. That's a nested paragraph. Ugh, bad, bad, shame, shame, shame. Who wrote this piece of code? This jerk. You. We'll give him a break this time. You know, you gotta, nobody's perfect. Okay. So we'll make that a div. Blame it on GPT. Yeah. I just copied it from GPT. Oh gosh. How to get fired in 5 easy words. So here is the fix don't nest p tags. Don't nest p tags. And before I commit it, let me just make sure that it worked. Whoa, authentication error. That's expected, actually. This is a proper 401. So I went to settings, but I'm not logged in. It's a proper 401. Okay. So we're going to try the login thingy. We're going to go to the store, log out. Yay! We're going to log in, and we're going to go to settings. Da, 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 I'm logging out. And we have no crazy red stack over here now. Great. Don't nest p tags. And now we can separately commit. I could have committed it all at once, right? Why did I not do that? Because we like small incremental commits with related code that's related to each other and related to the commit message. And we want to do, we're shipping all this code. We know that all this code is good, but we still want to break it up. Like this is related to the commit message. This and this is related to the commit message. If you can break it up, do break it up. So with the imports, they don't move. Great. This is looking good. We're setting null. And then this fix is collapse subnav on logout. How about collapse dropdown? I think that makes more sense. Collapse dropdown on logout. Okay, chat, while we're waiting for the build to pass, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite color, chat? Don't lie to me. Digpen, what's your favorite color? Nobody say red. Nobody's allowed to say red. That would jinx the build. Purple. Oh, okay. Hey, that's a vibe, dude. That's a vibe. Good job, Digpen. Ganondorf, are you still here or did you leave? Ganondorf, what's your favorite color? I think he left. Ganondorf always be leaving, dude. What's up with that guy? I don't know about that guy. It's kind of sus. Christian says red. No! I'm melting. That's okay. I value, thank you for giving your honest opinion and thank you for sticking up for yourself, even when it was the unpopular thing to do. I appreciate that. Look at all this green. Yellow and green, yellow and green. Some of these pages could be optimized, but that's okay. Okay, Robert over here with the jokes. 25500. I see you, Robert. I see you, Robert. That's an RGB color for those, which means red, but he said red without saying red. That's the joke. Deployment completed. All right, we're not skipping any steps. We got the build passing. We're going to do our ephemeral staging test. I've fought the desire to skip steps, but we've seen every step of the way it's uncovered bugs, hasn't it? We'll view the deployment, the preview environment, which is a staging environment, okay? Continue as Vanderveer, yep, that's me. The Vercel staging features are awesome. They are so cool. You can like annotate pages and stuff if you want. Bro, no one be growing. So you can do, and you can have like a whole conversation with your teammates and your designers. This is the built-in Vercel annotation and peer review tools. They're so cool, man. So cool. Anyway. So we're logging in. We are going to the store. We're logging out. Thing is collapsed. That's great. Let's open up DevTools. Okay. We're going to do another one. We'll go over to the settings page. You must be logged in to access this. That's a proper 401. That's the only error we see. Ready to ship. Oh, no, we're not, because now the thing is doing this. What is going on now? Oh, the preview comments. Did I break it by saying I broke? It's okay though. It's okay though. How do I how do I resolve it? Okay. Awesome. Well, we didn't finish within an hour, but we did finish within 2.5 hours. That's going to do it for today. Thanks everyone for being here. We'll be doing LeetCode later, so follow the page if you're interested.